Boys and girls, welcome back to Kate's Kindergarten. My name is Teacher Kate, and I am so excited that you are here with me today. We're going to read some more books, some more Letters of the Week books, and today's letter is, dun 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 dun, the letter N. You write the letter N the same way every time. You start at the top and come down. Pick up your pencil. Back to the top, and you go down and then back up. That's how you write the letter N. N says N. N, N, N. Can you say it with me, boys and girls? N. What things start with N? How about nuts? Something yummy to eat. I love to eat nuts. Numbers. N, N. Nest. N, N. What other things start with Nancy? A girl's name, Nancy. We're going to read some books today. Our first book is called The Big Nest. N. We're going to read The Big Nest by P.D. Eastman. Let's see what happens to these two birds. Oh my goodness. Mr. Bird was happy. He was so happy he had to sing. This is Mr. Bird's song. I love my house, I love my nest. In all the world, my nest is best. Now there's Mrs. Bird. Wonder what she's thinking. Then Mrs. Bird came out of the house. This is not the best nest, she said. I'm tired of this old place, said Mrs. Bird. I really don't like it. Let's look for a new place right now. She's pretty grumpy. Sometimes if you want someone to do something, being grumpy is not the best way to act. So they left the old place to look for a new one. Look at this nice little town that they live in. There's a post office, another red building, a grocery. It looks like a church back there. This place looks nice, said Mr. Bird. Let's move in here. But somebody else had already moved in. Sorry, Mr. Raccoon. So they looked at another house. This one looks nice, said Mr. Bird, and there's nobody in it. What do you think, boys and girls? Is that shoe a good place for them to live? I'm not so sure. You're wrong, said Mrs. Bird. This shoe belongs to a foot. This is not the best nest. So they went on looking. I like this one, said Mr. Bird. It has a pretty red flag on the roof. I've always wanted a house with a flag, said Mrs. Bird. Maybe this place will be just right. Boys and girls, do you see a problem coming down the road? Uh-oh, I do believe that truck says mail. Uh-oh. But it was not all right. I guess I made a mistake, said Mr. Bird. Oh my goodness. When the postman put the mail in, they got kicked out. You make so many mistakes, said Mrs. Bird. I'm going to pick the next house. And here it is, right here. Oh, it looks like she found a white house in the steeple of the church. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They flew in. They looked around. Isn't it too big? Asked Mr. Bird. I like this big place, said Mrs. Bird. This is the place to build our new nest. They went right to work. They needed many things to build their nest. First, they found some hay. Hay is nice and soft. It'll make a nice nest. Then they got some soda straws. This little girl looks a little surprised. The bird has taken her straw. And some broom straws. Then they got some sweater string. Oh my goodness, look at the look on that boy's face. That would be pretty crazy if the birds came and actually undid your sweater. They got some stocking string. Oh, they got some string from his sock and stuffing from the hammock and mattress stuffing. Look, he's reading the news. News. Did you know that how they got that word, boys and girls, was north, east, west, and south? The news from all of the places. That's how they got the word news. They got some horse's hair. The horse doesn't look very happy. And they got some man hair. Oh my goodness, they took it right out of that man's beard. Soon they had all the hay, all the straw, string, stuffing, horse hair, and all the man hair they could carry. They took it back to build their nest. Mr. and Mrs. Bird worked very hard. It took them the rest of the morning to finish their nest. "This nest is really the best," said Mrs. Bird. "I want to stay here forever." Boys and girls, do you see a problem with this nest? Oh no. I think that bell might make a noise. Mr. Bird was very happy too. He flew to the top of his house. He sang out his song. "I love our house, I love our nest. In all the world, our nest is best." He was so busy singing that he didn't even see Mr. Parker coming down the road. Wonder what Mr. Parker is going to do. Every day at 12 o'clock, Mr. Parker came to the church. Mr. Parker came to pull a rope. The rope went up to the bird's new nest. The rope rang the big bell right under Mrs. Bird's nest. Bong, bong, bong. Oh my goodness. Mrs. Bird got out of there as fast as she could. Bong, 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 bong. Oh my goodness. When Mr. Bird came in, all he could see was a mess of hay, string, stuffing, horsehair, and man hair and straws. Where was Mrs. Bird? Oh my goodness. "I will look for her until I find her," said Mr. Bird. He looked high and he looked low. He looked all over town for Mrs. Bird. He looked down into the chimney, but Mrs. Bird wasn't there. That's very dangerous. You don't want to breathe in smoke like that. He looked down into the water barrel, but Mrs. Bird wasn't there. Then he saw a big fat cat. There was a big fat smile on the fat cat's face. There were some pretty brown feathers near the fat cat's mouth. Mr. Bird began to cry. "Oh dear," he cried, "that big fat cat has eaten Mrs. Bird." Oh my goodness. Mr. Bird flew off. "I'll never see Mrs. Bird again," he cried. It was getting dark and it began to rain. It rained harder and harder, and Mr. Bird could not see where he was going. Crash! Mr. Bird bumped into something. This was his old house. That old house that Mrs. Bird really didn't like. "I'll go inside," said Mr. Bird. "I'll rest here until the rain stops." Mr. Bird went in, and there was Mrs. Bird. Oh, happy day. Sitting there singing, "I love my house, I love my nest. In all the world, my nest is best." Oh, she's singing Mr. Bird's song. "You here?" gasped Mr. Bird. "I thought you hated this old nest." Look at his, can you try to make a surprised look? Mrs. Bird smiled. I used to hate it, she said, but a mother bird can change her mind. You see, oh my goodness, she was so happy that she made an egg. There's no less nest like an old nest for a brand new bird. And when the egg popped open, the new bird thought so too. And that's the story, The Best Nest by P.D. Eastman. Boys and girls, what lesson can you learn from Mrs. Bird and Mr. Bird? I think a good lesson for us to learn from them is sometimes it's best to be happy with what you already have. That's one of the secrets of happiness to life. Be happy with what you already have. And that's the best nest, nest, our letter of the day. Our second book is called Alfie's 1, 2, 3. Now the 1, 2, and 3 are what, boys and girls? If you said numbers, you are exactly correct. That's why we're reading this book, The Numbers. Alfie's 1, 2, 3 by Shirley Hughes. 1. 1, 2, 3, go. Here's one little boy called Alfie running up the street. He looks very happy, doesn't he? 2's company. 1, 2. Alfie can count, and he's teaching his little sister, Annie Rose. It takes 2 to seesaw. But when Alfie gets on, Annie Rose goes up in the air and Alfie hits the ground. I wonder why. Why would Alfie go down and Annie Rose go up? If you said because Alfie is heavy, he's heavier, so he makes the seesaw tilt that way. 2. Here are 2 pairs of shoes. 1 pair is Alfie's and 1 pair is Annie Rose. That makes 1, 2, 3, 4 all together, but it's 2 pairs. And here is Alfie's Noah's Ark animals walking 2 by 2. See how there's 2 ducks, 2 lambs, 2 giraffes, 2 rhinos, 2 elephants. They're walking 2 by 2. 3. 1, 2, 3. 3's company when friends come to play. Though sometimes Annie Rose feels left out. Oh, look, Alfie's friends have come over to play. There's 3 friends. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but Annie Rose feels a little bit left out. Has there ever been a time when you felt left out, boys and girls? That's happened to me too. And it's okay to feel left out sometimes, but always remember it doesn't feel good to be left out, so try to include others when you're playing. Alfie and his dad and the pig make 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now just 1. Funny old pig. 3. There are 4 people in Alfie's family, not counting Chessie the cat. There are 4 humans in Alfie's family. 1, 2, 3, 4. But when they go on a visit to Grandma's house, then there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 5 people getting ready for a party. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 balloons. Count it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 cows browsing in a field. Moo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget that one back there. 5, 6. 6 children sitting around the table at Alfie's party? Sam is under the table, so he would make 7. Let's count the children in this picture. Who are sitting at the table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 at the table and 1 underneath. And there are 6 balloons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 friendly neighbors having tea together. Are you friends with your neighbors, boys and girls? I'm friends with my neighbors. There are 7 neighbors here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and little Miss Annie Rose makes 7. Eight party children popping bubbles. Bubbles are light and they float in the air. Some big, some small. Too many to count when you are busy popping. It would be hard to count all those bubbles, wouldn't it be, boys and girls? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 party children. 1, 2, 3. Say it with me. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 again. 8 people walking up Alfie Street. They're walking to work. Are the same number coming home again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then at the end of the day, there she is. There she is. There he is. There he is. That man's there. That man's there. This man is there. And this lady is there. All 8 came home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you add the little dog, that makes 9. 9 messy bears walking around Alfie's bowl. Oh, the bears are the design on your bowl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. And 9 old toys waiting to play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now we're finally at 10. Show me 10 fingers, boys and girls. 10. You have 10 fingers and 10 toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well done. Show me 10. 10. 10 fingers each. 5 on one hand and 5 on the other. And how many toes? There are 10 toes too. What else is 10? 10 children playing on a big fallen tree. Now let's look at this picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. The number 10 is a 1 and a 0 together. And so many leaves on the trees, and so many flowers and berries growing, and shells and stones on the beach, and creatures on the earth. So many stars in the sky that we can't count them all. And boys and girls, that is Alfie's 1, 2, 3, the number book. We're reading about numbers because our letter of the day is the letter N. N. Thank you so much for coming to Kate's Kindergarten today, boys and girls. I will see you next time. We'll read another letter of the week book. And until then, be kind, be friendly, and be helpful in all you do. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye-bye.